Alright, welcome to the sink. So what do we need to do? Well, first we're going to start with the cantaloupe. So what are the items that we're going to need? We're going to need a knife to cut this. We're going to need a spoon to scoop out those seeds. And I have a plastic bag, which I actually double lined, that I'm going to put the seeds in here. And I'm also going to put the rind when I'm done with it. Now, if you want to keep some of these seeds, I would highly recommend that. Go ahead and save some of those, clean them off. You can let those dry, or since it's a little early in the season right now, you can go ahead and if you have a garden, you can go ahead and plant those. I don't recommend planting them if you don't already have a garden made up. The reason being is it's going to be a very long vine. If you plant it at the edge of the woods per se, then it's going to go into the woods. Deer love these. If you can't believe it, coyotes will bust open watermelons and cantaloupes to eat. So you may want to keep it somewhere closer to your house. Okay, let's get started. Take my knife and you're just going to insert it. Try to cut it as close to being half as you can. You do not have to be perfect by any means. And you're just going to slice it down. I turn mine. Just slice it the rest of the way this way. And that's what your inside of your cantaloupe is going to look like. And as you see, these are all the seeds and the membrane. And like I said, if you want to save these seeds, I wouldn't save all of them unless you plan on really planting a lot of cantaloupe, because it only takes 1 to 2 seeds per little heel that you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrape these into this bag. You just scrape them out. So what you're going to do is just like an avocado, go around, kind of scoop it, and then you scrape the bottom. And that's how you get your seeds out. So you're done with your spoon for right now. And this is how I do it. What I do is I just slice it. So I kind of lay it up on its side a little bit, not all the way. And you just start about where the center is. And you just slice it. Now, can you cut it any way you want to? Of course you can. You can slice it if you want to slice it this way. That's absolutely perfectly fine. Can you eat it right off the rind like this? Of course you can. But most people, what they do, and what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to slice it like this. You want to cut it right above where that green is. That green is not going to be any good to eat. So just slice right above that. Kind of use that as your guide. And there you go. Look at that. That can go there. Now if you want to throw this into your woods, if you have woods by your house, for the deer to eat, the raccoons, squirrels, they'll eat all that. If you don't have woods, if you live in the city, just throw it in the dumpster. It's fine. What I do is slice them kind of like into little chunks. Sorry, that one popped in my mouth. And then you're just going to put them in your bowl. Now it is kind of early in the season and it's been raining a lot. So these are not as sweet as they usually are, but they usually are very, very sweet to eat. And it's not bad. It is very good. It's just not as sweet as they usually are. So we're just going to slice this. Again, right above that green rind. Let me show you on this one. You start right there at the edge. And then you're just going to follow that rind. Just follow it right there. And I mess up just like everybody else. Sometimes I leave too much of the good stuff on there, and sometimes I leave too much of the green on there. Throw that away. Yeah, I did that one pretty good. This one I have a little green on. You just can go right back, cut that off. Just like that. Again, I slice mine and just put it in a bowl. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish cutting this and then we'll come back and I'll show you how much I had. Alright, and that's how you cut it. And I got one big bowl. Let me put a lid on it. That way I can turn it sideways. You can see just how big this is. So it's a pretty good sized bowl. And it is full of cantaloupe. So I'm going to put it in the fridge. It's much better when it's cold. And then we'll come back and we'll get started on the watermelon. Alright, welcome to the sink. Watermelon cutting time. So as I said, watermelons are a vegetable and they grow on a vine like cucumbers and cantaloupes. So what are the utensils that you need? You need a knife. I've got my bags. If you want to save some watermelon seeds, you can do that as you're eating it. The seeds will be in there. This one's supposed to be a seedless, but seedless ones even, they have a few seeds in there. I've got a couple of these bowls. That's not going to hold it all, but it'll hold some. So let's get to cutting. Take your knife. Just like with the cantaloupe, you're going to stick it right in the center from each end. You push it down and then slice it. Now, as you can tell, I already hear the cantaloupe, you can already tell that the watermelon, it makes a different sound. So listen. Ooh, did you hear that? One thing I didn't tell you, how you know if you go to the store or if you go to the farmer's market and you want to get a good watermelon. First of all, if you pick a watermelon that's not ripe, it's going to have a deep, almost deep voice, kind of thud. This is ripe, so listen. Whoops. It's really light sounding, almost like somebody's knocking on your door. That way you know that it's ripe. And as far as a cantaloupe, I usually go by the yellowy kind of texture on the skin, and I usually smell the end of it to see if it smells sweet. I know, not everybody does that, and that's fine. Watermelons are really good about when you start to cut, they will start to split. I don't know if you can see this little split, but it will split open, and that's what happened, why it made that noise a while ago. See, it's already splitting itself. Look at that. Woo! It smells so good. And see, I told you it already has these little seeds. Even though it's seedless, it didn't have near as many seeds as a regular watermelon would have. Watermelons come in different kinds. This is red meated. You can get yellow meated. They come in small, like small ones that you can get pretty reasonable price at the Walmart. At the grocery store. During the summer, watermelons are not that expensive at all. Usually $5. This one costs $4.98. So you can find farmers that sell them on the side of the roads in the South. You can get them at the grocery store. But if you've never cut a watermelon before, if you usually buy it already cut and already squared up at the grocery store, you can buy them like that. Or if you've never had watermelon at all, I would recommend spending $5, getting a watermelon, but listening to it when you thump it, when you knock on it, it's going to be kind of hollow sounding, and that's when you know it's going to be ripe. I'm going to move this side over. And as you can see, all the juice. That's why I say you need a towel underneath you or put your cutting board on the sink. That way I can, from time to time, wipe it off and wipe that juice in. I have bags over here to put this rind in. You can throw it up in the woods. Like I said before, if you have woods, you can do that. The animals will eat it. If you live in the city, just throw it in the trash. It's fine. Now, when I was a kid, we'd eat a whole half of one just like this. So my sister would have one, I would have one. You get these long, oh, those are so good. And we get straws and suck up the juice because these are really juicy. These are mostly water. So I'm going to split this right down the center. And this right here in the center is called the heart of the watermelon, and that is the sweetest part. And it also has no seeds. So as you can see how it sounds when it's splitting, and you see how it's already split here? Because it's going to pull apart. Now when I was a kid, when we'd work in the fields or the big gardens, my sister and I would go pick some watermelons, a couple of watermelons, we'd check them, and we'd go put these in the creek, because the creek is cold, cold water. I'm telling you, it's ice cold. So we would put them in the creek and let them sit there while we were working in the garden. And you see how it's already, the meat here is starting to split from me slicing it here. It's okay. What I used to do when my kids were small, they're grown now. My baby is in his 30s. But I would cut them up just like this into quarters, and I would give each one of them a piece of watermelon, and then make them go outside. And they'd take off everything. They have shorts on, but they would take off their shirts because you're going to get juice all over you. And they would spit seeds in the yard, and I'd have watermelon sprouting everywhere. And that was fun. I used to do the same thing when I was little. We'd spit watermelon seeds at each other, actually. So once you get it cut like this, what I do is just kind of cut it down. Get that piece of rind off of there. Just cut it all the way down to the rind. And just like the cantaloupe, you have the green rind here, and then it turns into white or light green. You want to put your knife right there, right where that starts turning, just starts turning red. And you want to follow that along and slice it. And then once you do that, these little pieces just come right out. Look at that. That's some good stuff. You just follow that green. If you want, you can go ahead and take these out. You can put that in there. Some of these, they're going to get bigger towards the middle. So you might want to just cut these a little bit, just to make it easier. So the more you put in here, it takes up, they move around a little bit easier than a big chunk. So just continue on. You can take them out if you want. I turn mine because I'm right-handed. My mother was left-handed, and I was going to be left-handed. She tells me this after I'm in my 20s, and says when she was growing up that people used to make fun of left-handed people, and she didn't want me to be made fun of. I thought that would be the coolest thing to be left-handed. But I'm right-handed. And I'm not mad. She was trying to protect me, and I appreciate that. So I'm just taking my slices where I've already cut them. Just making them a little smaller. Just for convenience of the bowl. You can eat them any way you want to. You can eat them just like this. That would be really pretty to put on a plate, actually. I'm going to save that one for at the end of the video, when I put all my vegetables and all my stuff on a tray, on a plate to eat. That'll be a good visual. So again, you're just going to go down to the rind. And you can make them as big or small as you want and go right along that edge. You see that? Go right along that edge. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. And you're gonna have to readjust it sometimes, especially in this little curve here. And that's okay. And if you get too much, see how I got a little bit of rind? Trim it off. It's simple. That's simple. Throw that in the trash bag. I just spin mine around a little bit. And there you go. And I'm gonna put that in the bag. So I'm gonna finish this half here, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how much half the watermelon did. So I wanted to show you how much watermelon I got out of the half. So this is a container that's full, and probably could have took a little bit out of this. This is 1.25 liters. Maybe a little bit more. I'm just reading what's on the side. So 5 cups. This is probably more like a 6-cup container. So I've got one full one and almost a full one. And this is a small watermelon, so it's not like it's a huge watermelon. And as you can see, all the juice on the cutting board. That's why I tell you, use a cutting board over the sink or a towel, because and this is very sticky because watermelons are natural sugars. Like a strawberry, they have natural sugars in them, so they're naturally sweet and they're very juicy. So as you eat them, if you can see, squeezing it, see the juice come out? That's basically like a sugar water, or just water with natural sugars. So if you're on a diet, or if you're trying to watch what you eat, not necessarily on a diet, watermelon and cantaloupe is one of the best things you can eat, because watermelon in itself, but it will fill you up and then you won't be hungry. And not only that, it's delicious. So this is one reason my sister and I would put these in the creek, because these are will hydrate you. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be out in the heat, like the summer, and you're going to a picnic, you can go ahead and slice this just like this, put a lid on it, and put it in a cooler with full of ice so that it will stay cold. And when you eat it, it will hurt your teeth. It will get so cold sometimes. So I'm going to slice this other half up and do just like this and put these in containers. And then I'm going to put this in the fridge. And once we get done with the meal, I'm going to have some watermelon out for you to see. I'll also have cantaloupe out for you to see, as well as the other vegetables and the meat that we cooked. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a few minutes.